Hello, and welcome back to Curlington Stories. If you're new here, welcome to you too. Have you ever been to a wedding or a bridal shower? If you say yes to either of these, then believe me, you're going to enjoy this story. Perhaps you've experienced one of these circumstances that we're going to be talking about today. As you might have predicted, we have two different stories, both incredibly interesting. But I'm going to save what I think to be the most interesting of the two for last. But what we'll be starting with is almost like a theme that I've come across on these Reddit stories all across the internet. And it's when people want to show up at events that aren't about them at all and make it about them, whether they want to announce a pregnancy, propose to someone, basically do something totally inappropriate at someone else's event that is meant for them, supposed to be about them, it's their day, and just kind of steal the show for themselves. It's significantly more common than you might think. In fact, I could probably make an entire series off of just covering stories like this. That's precisely what has happened here. This has happened at a bridal shower, and I won't spoil the surprise. We'll just get into it. Am I the asshole for shutting down my brother's proposal at my baby shower and then sending him a bill? I'm 29F, due in November with our first baby. We planned a small mixed baby shower at a local village hall. Some nibbles, silly games, a couple of speeches. Me and my husband paid for most of it. My mother-in-law chipped in for desserts. It wasn't anything mad, but it was our little celebration. A week before the shower, my brother, 26M, texted asking if he could propose to his girlfriend during the party because the whole family will be there. I told him no. I said I'd be thrilled to help plan something special literally any other day, but I really wanted to keep the shower about, the baby. He kicked off a bit and got my mom involved, who said it would be so lovely and two birds, one stone. I said no again and thought that was the end of it. Don't mind me, just gonna make a brief comment here, but why would you want a two birds, one stone something really special, right? A baby shower is a one-time event per child, right? You can have another one for a different child, but it's a one-time event per child. And why would you want a two birds, one stone that? Why would you want to create two events to coincide together for one that should be the central focus? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That doesn't sound very appealing at all. I have no idea what mom was thinking here, but clearly she wasn't thinking. On the day during the toast, my mom calls my brother up to say a few words. He starts chatting about love and family, and I see him pat his pocket. He turns to his girlfriend, starts to go down on one knee. I stood up, walked over, took the mic, not yanking it, honest, and said, "Hey, we love you guys, but we're not doing this today. Let's please keep today focused on the baby. We'll help you celebrate properly soon, I promise." You didn't even have to go that far, if I'm being honest with you. I would have kicked them out. The room went dead quiet. His girlfriend looked mortified and legged it to the lose. My brother got angry, said I'd embarrass him, and left. The rest of the shower was awkward. Afterwards, a few family members said I did the right thing and that proposals at other people's dues are tacky. Others said I should have just let it happen and not cause a scene. The night the family group chat blew up, my mom said I was controlling and that she'd cleared a surprise moment with the venue. As if that's the point? Just a quick reminder that the couple here who are having the baby paid for the vast majority of this event. So I don't know who they think they are going behind their back and telling the venue things. Who gave you the right to do that? Seriously. I said I'd already told them both no and that consent matters for parties too. My brother said I ruined his big moment and that his girlfriend had planned to fly her sister over next month. So this was the only time everyone was together. I missed the part where that's her problem. I told him we would have all turned up for him whenever he asked. Right, here's where I might be the arsehole. The next morning, I sent my brother an itemized request to cover half of the hall hire and the extra drinks package. £220 total. Since he tried to, in his words, make it our day too. I said if you want to use the party as his proposal venue, he could help pay for it. He hasn't paid, obviously, and now says I'm being petty and tight. I know sending a bill looks bad, but I'm so hurt that he and my mom just ignored a boundary I'd clearly set. Since then, his girlfriend messaged me privately to apologize and said she had no idea he was planning to do it there. She also said she doesn't want her proposal tied to the memory of my baby shower anyway, which I totally get and was grateful for. I told her I was sorry for how awkward it was and would have loved to help him plan something nice later on. So am I the asshole for taking the mic and shutting him down? And am I an extra arsehole for the invoice? I'm willing to hear I handled it badly, but I also feel like if I'd let it happen, the whole shower would have just become about their engagement and the baby would have been forgotten. If you were at a party and someone tried this, would you just let it happen or step in politely? What's a better way I could have handled it in the moment? I'm definitely willing to make up. I just don't want to set a precedent that my no doesn't actually mean anything. I mean, it goes without saying that she's not an asshole. We'll break it up into the two parts, right? We'll address the bill thing too. But we'll start with just the original question. Is she the a-hole for doing this, for stepping in and stopping the proposal? No, absolutely not. You told these goofballs that you do not want this to happen here, and they decided to go behind your back and do it anyway. That is slimy sleazeball behavior. That means they have zero respect for you. And clearly they don't give a shit about your upcoming baby. They care more about this engagement than your upcoming baby. That sounds like favoritism to me. It sounds like your mama has a favorite child. That's not very cool, dude. And regardless, this is your party. Even if you're quote unquote an asshole for this, it's your damn party, and what you say should go. You paid for the vast majority of this, and I don't think either of these people chipped in. I know she said it was like her mother-in-law or something, not her actual mom, that chipped in and paid for anything. So with that being said, what right do they have to make any sort of alterations to the event process, etc.? Which I already mentioned, them talking to the venue is already a step too far. That was definitely some overreach that shouldn't have happened. Now, like I've mentioned, I've seen this type of scenario happen so many times, like people trying to propose that to people at their cousins or their brothers or their sisters' weddings, like trying to make things about them or announcing that they have a baby on the way, all types of different things. Like, that's not how this works. You should schedule your own event if you want to do that. Like, this is ridiculous. Trying to make someone else's event about you is one of the most selfish, disrespectful, asshole things I can imagine somebody doing. This is not your event. That is so distasteful to try to steal that moment away from. It's not even just about the parents, it's about their future child. This is about the little baby that's being cooked up in the oven right now, and you're trying to steal the spotlight away from that little baby. Like, what is wrong with you? Come on, people, you need to do better. Now let's talk about the bill. Now, I think sending the person the bill doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I'm not gonna say they're an asshole for doing it, but like, what are you doing? Like, I would understand if, say, you did end up letting it happen or you didn't catch it in time, and you know, there was this whole segment that was actually ruined. It was then split at your baby shower because they went through with it fully. Then you sending them a bill for that, I think, is completely warranted. In fact, you'd be like, okay, well, this is your event too, then you pay for your event, you know? Like, it's ridiculous. It shows you just how unbelievable this entire thing is. The fact that they're trying to call it, you know, their little event too, like when they paid for nothing. Under that circumstance, and yeah, absolutely, they should foot a part of the bill. But since you did interrupt it, you stopped it, you didn't allow for this to happen, you didn't allow for this segment to occur, then I don't think it really makes sense to send them the bill. That definitely seems like out of a fit of rage sort of thing. Like, I'm really upset and I want to express how upset I am, so I send the bill, which I don't think they're an asshole, but I can't see why. It doesn't really hurt anyone, but it does send a clear message that, like, hey, what you did is absolutely wrong and you're kind of a piece of shit for doing so. That's kind of the way I view it. That's kind of the way I view sending that bill over. But anyway, we'll look at a couple of the comments. I'm curious what you guys think about this particular story before we move on to the next one. But in the meantime, let's go see what other people have to say. I'm not really sure what NTJ means. Oh, not the jerk. That is such a tacky thing to do. Also, lazy. He couldn't be asked to asked. I'm confused about that, but to come up with the romantic moment of his own. Frankly, who cares if his family is there? Why would that matter to the girl? Like, it's more important to him, his family, see him propose and make it a good proposal for his girlfriend. I feel like if you go around and ask most women what a good proposal would be, I want his entire family to be there, it isn't going to come up 99% of the time. In fact, I think most women would rather a romantic moment between the two of them, designed with her preferences in mind. My ex proposed in front of my parents on Xmas morning, and honestly, I kind of hated it. I was in my jammies, didn't feel pretty at all, and it really felt like it was just so he wouldn't have to come up with a Christmas present. I had told him several times over the years I wanted to be proposed to on a beach, and we live in a state with thousands of them. Is it really that hard to sit down and think, okay, I want to marry this person and spend my life with them? What is it that they would really want, instead of, okay, what big event is coming up that I can use? Yeah, that's another angle that I didn't really think of, just kind of the laziness aspect of it, and also the completely aromantic aspect of it as well. Not trying to actually cater to your significant other. Like, do you really even want to marry this person, or are you doing this out of like some sort of weird necessity? It's very strange to me. I may have said no in this situation because to me, if he cannot hear me and listen to my needs in such a time as this, I would question if he ever could. This person says, I definitely would have turned him down and quite possibly dumped him on the spot in this situation. He was willing to risk humiliating her to keep a bit of money in his pocket. Personally, I'd want a more intimate proposal, like a nice dinner, which wouldn't usually cost nearly as much as the baby shower. The proposal should be about the couple, not the couple and someone else's baby. Yeah, exactly. It's really not that difficult of a concept to understand. So I really can't put my finger on what this goofball was thinking, if they were thinking at all. It's shocking, but I think there's something very deep-rooted going on here between the mom and the original poster's brother. I think they're both maybe just a little bit insane. But I agree with what these people are saying, especially about, you know, the proposal atmosphere. You know, I proposed to my wife, just me and her, right? In a nice location on a nice night sort of thing, you know? It was very befitting for both of us. And I can very clearly see that the brother's girlfriend wasn't really about this whole public proposal at the baby shower thing. So clearly he must not know her at all, or must not give a shit about what she feels or thinks. What an absolute maniacal piece of shit. She should leave him. Anyway, on to the next story. Will I be the asshole if I skip my brother's wedding because he uninvited my husband over a joke? My brother Jake, 32M, is getting married in 2 months and I'm 29F, supposed to be a bridesmaid. Or I was supposed to be. Background, my husband Tim, 30M, and Jake have never really gotten along. They're just different people. Tim's quiet and kinda nerdy. Jake's loud and into sports. They've always been civil, but not friends. Last month, we had a family barbecue at my parents' house. Everyone was drinking, things were relaxed. Jake and his buddies were talking about the bachelor party, and one of them joked about strippers. Tim, trying to join the conversation once, made a comment like, well, at least you'll finally see a woman naked, or something dumb like that. It was obviously a joke. Everyone laughed, including Jake's fiance, Sarah. Tim doesn't really joke around, so I was actually happy he was trying. But Jake got pissed, like immediately in Tim's face, saying, what the f did you just say to me? And Tim was like, dude, it was just a joke, relax. And Jake shoved him. My dad had to get between them. Jake stormed off and wouldn't talk to anyone for the rest of the day. I texted him the next day to smooth things over. He said Tim disrespected him in front of his friends and that he never liked him anyway. And now he has a reason. Then 3 days ago, Sarah texted me. Says they've decided Tim is uninvited from the wedding. Just Tim. I can still come and be in the bridal party, but Tim has to stay home. I was like, absolutely not. If my husband isn't welcome, then neither am I. Sarah said I'm being dramatic and that Jake is the groom, so he gets final say on the guest list. I said that's fine. He can have his wedding without us then. And now my entire family is blowing up my phone. My mom is crying, saying I'm ruining Jake's wedding. My dad says Tim should just apologize. Jake sent me a long text about how I'm choosing sides and picking Tim over family. Wait a second. How is she choosing Tim over family? Tim is her family. What the fuck kind of statement is that? Oh my god, these entitled brats. Jeez, I had to take a moment there. I had to take a break from this one. It's driving me crazy already. Let me finish this off. But here's the thing. Tim's joke was dumb, but it wasn't mean-spirited. Jake had said way worse shit to Tim over the years, and Tim never made it a big deal. Jake called Tim gay for not liking football literally at Christmas. I didn't see him getting uninvited from anything. Ugh, this is ridiculous. It looked like he was just literally just looking for an excuse not to invite the guy because he clearly has some sort of... I can't even finish the story because I have so much to say. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to come back to that. My mom says I'm being stubborn and hurting the family. Sarah says I'm making the wedding about me. Even my sister thinks I should go without Tim to keep the peace. But I think it's insane that they expect me to show up and smile in pictures while my husband is banned. So I'll be the asshole if I skip the wedding entirely. Am I being unreasonable here? No, not at all. Fucking hell, dude. God, I couldn't keep my mouth shut on this one because it's driving me crazy. Just like my brain is just boiling this entire time. God, I need to talk about it. This is ridiculous. Why does it seem like the family always wants to side with the person who's clearly the asshole in this scenario? Tim made a damn joke that wasn't even crazy, and then fucking Jake or whatever loses his mind. Obviously, Jake has some type of fucking vendetta against him for no reason. It's probably because they don't see eye to eye because they're very different people. There's people who are like that, who look at people who are opposite of them or aren't like them as less than. And this is what this is looking like. It seems like Jake looks at Tim, and because Tim isn't interested in sports and the same shit as he is, that he's a less than. I mean, calling him gay when he's clearly married to a woman is fucking ridiculous. That makes no sense at all. This guy sounds like an immature man-child. I mean, why is his fiancée Sarah marrying a literal man-child? He sounds like an insufferable pile of hot garbage to hang out with. I couldn't imagine wanting to spend my life with somebody like that. That sounds absolutely horrendous. And just to think that Tim has likely had to endure bullying from this dude is ridiculous. And the little baby tantrum that he throws because Tim made a joke that he tried to kind of fit in with him, because that's the kind of joke he probably would have made towards him in the same scenario. And he tried to fit in a little bit, you know, trying to be like, oh, look at me, you know, I'm making an effort to have you like me, to have you accept me here. And the guy responds with, you're not invited to my wedding anymore. You sound like a baby, dude. You sound like an absolute child, an absolute little crybaby bitch boy. I'm sorry, guys. The Curl King is coming out in Curlington Stories. I couldn't help it. This one had me heated, okay? I usually don't get all that heated in Curlington Stories. It's a little bit more lighthearted here, but this one just grinds my gears. Grinds my gears because, you know, this is just so unfair. It's so unbelievably unfair. And especially with the way that they're targeting the original poster who has done nothing wrong. She's standing by her husband who did nothing wrong, and they expect her to betray him. Why? Like, it just doesn't make sense. I can't fathom, I can't wrap my head around this injustice. So that's the thing. I can't stand injustice. Injustice is like an automatic trigger in my brain. And, you know, I come across injustice and I lose my mind. I can't handle it. And this is no different. But I'm going to stop talking here. I have a lot more to say, but I'm just going to cut it here. I want to know what you guys think. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'm going to take a look at a couple of their comments, see what you guys are saying, see if they're singing the same tune as me. Not the asshole. You're not ruining your brother's wedding. He's doing it himself. Just keep repeating either we both come or neither do. It's Jake's choice. Make sure the family knows that Jake said he never liked your husband and that this is just an excuse to exclude him. It's precisely what it is. Exactly what I was saying. Absolutely not the asshole. You're doing right by sticking with your husband. Brother can obviously dish it out, but can't take it. Perhaps husband struck a nerve. Anyway, suggestion. Original poster, use budgeted money for the wedding to do something fun with husband that weekend. Maybe a short trip, fancy dinner. See, that's the kind of shit I would do. I would go book something for just us two. I'd be like, okay, we're not invited, we're not welcome. We're gonna go hang out somewhere else. We're gonna go do something fun. I would book a nice Airbnb in a far enough location now. Then you can't go for sure. Reservation is non-refundable and it's too far for you to be able to get to any part of the wedding. Bummer, but nothing we can do. We'll make it. We'll try to make it to the next one. Oh, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. And somebody says, and there will be a next one, basically saying that they are likely to get divorced. And I kind of agree. I think it's probable. It's probable that they'll get divorced. A lot of people are singing the tune of saying they wouldn't go. They wouldn't go either. They would go find something nice to do. And I could not back them more. This is ridiculous. This is literally like some unjustified hate boner that Jake has for Tim, and there's nothing more else to it. Why would you even want to be there knowing that this person unjustly hates you for no reason just because you're different than them? Like, what kind of world do we live in where people just hate other people for being different than them? I mean, it is unfortunately a fairly common thing. It exists all across this country, all across the world. And it's sad. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. Especially when you see it happening within your own family for no reason. And then instead of people having your back, your family having your back, they demonize you and your choices to defend somebody vulnerable in this situation who did nothing wrong. Like, shame on every single person who is on Jake's side. Shame on all of you. Siding with the crying man baby is crazy work. Anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. See you guys next time.